My name is Emma, and that evening is etched in my memory. The restaurant shimmered under crystal chandeliers, with laughter echoing off polished marble. Servers wove through the crowd, balancing trays of sparkling champagne as flashes from cameras illuminated my sister. Lily, as always, glowed in her silk gown, basking in waves of admiration. Then our mother stood, her glass raised, her eyes gleaming with pride. To Lily, she proclaimed, the daughter who fills my heart with pride. The room burst into applause, glasses clinking, family members beaming at their cherished star. I sat there, my smile brittle, hands shaking beneath the tablecloth. When dessert was served, a waiter discreetly placed a leather folder in front of me. The bill, nearly $2,000, glared up like a wound. Mom leaned in, her voice sharp as a blade. Go ahead, Emma. Take care of it. In that instant, humiliation seared hotter than the flickering candles. That bill wasn't just about dollars. It was a reminder of my place in our family. From childhood, I understood my role was always second to Lily's. She was the radiant one, with golden curls and a smile that won hearts effortlessly. Relatives would fawn over her, cooing, "She'll break hearts one day." Then they'd turn to me, adding half-heartedly, "Emma's the clever one." It sounded kind, but it was a consolation, not praise. When Lily wanted ballet classes at 6, our parents enrolled her in the city's priciest studio without a second thought. When I asked for a science camp that same summer, Mom sighed. Too expensive. Try the library's free program. Lily's first recital dress cost more than my entire school wardrobe. I wore her hand-me-downs, stitching uneven hems myself. The pattern held firm. Lily got new dresses for every dance. I was told to borrow or buy used textbooks for my advanced math courses. She spent her days practicing pirouettes while I bagged groceries to afford a graphing calculator. Her packed schedule was celebrated. My extra shifts were expected. College only widened the gap. Lily's tuition, apartment, and monthly allowance were covered without question. I shared a cramped apartment with 3 others, working night shifts at a care home to buy instant noodles. She majored in communications, drifting between parties, posting photos in designer outfits. I studied nursing, grinding through 80-hour weeks. My successes barely earned a glance. When I pointed out the unfairness, my parents brushed it off. Dad would mumble, "Different kids have different needs." Mom's sharp sigh would follow. "Emma, jealousy isn't pretty." But it wasn't envy, it was fatigue. Fatigue from being unseen while giving everything. From watching Lily celebrated for existing while I scrapped for a shred of recognition. That night at the restaurant when Mom toasted Lily, years of silent inequity erupted into a humiliation I could no longer choke down. I thought adulthood, paying my own way, building my own life, would level the playing field. But favoritism casts a long shadow. When I graduated nursing school, I sent photos of myself in my cap and gown. My parents didn't show up. They were driving Lily to a brand deal shoot in Los Angeles. Dad sent a curt congrats text. Mom posted online, so proud of Lily chasing her dreams. My steady path was invisible. Her chaotic sparkle was celebrated. I rented a modest 1-bedroom in Chicago, filled with thrift store furniture and balcony plants I nurtured. Every piece was mine, earned through 12-hour shifts. My scrubs, patient thank yous, and financial independence were my quiet victories. Meanwhile, Lily drifted from one crisis to the next. When her rent was late, my parents sent money. When her car broke down, Dad co-signed a loan. When a brand deal collapsed, Mom called me, her tone syrupy. "Emma, can't you help your sister just this once?" That once was countless times. I learned to say no, each refusal shaky but firm. Guilt lingered, but family dinners became a test. Would I pay or be labeled selfish again? My boyfriend, James, saw it clearly. At one dinner, he whispered, "They treat you like a bank, Emma. That's not love, it's reliance." His words stung because they were true. I stayed silent most nights, swallowing the urge to confront the imbalance. Each unspoken truth piled up like bricks in my chest. I told myself silence bought peace, but silence carries its own weight. And one night it shattered, not quietly, but in a bustling restaurant with Mom holding her glass aloft. The private room sparkled, chandeliers casting golden light over crisp linens. Lily posed by the cake, sequins catching every phone's flash. Laughter bubbled, champagne fizzed, and a photographer circled her. Mom tapped her glass, and the room fell silent, like a curtain dropping. She beamed at Lily, barely glancing my way. "To my radiant Lily," she said, voice thick with adoration. "The daughter who makes me proudest." Applause crashed like waves. A few relatives dabbed their eyes. I clapped too, my hands stiff, heat creeping up my cheeks. Dessert arrived, lavish slices topped with delicate sugar flowers. A waiter approached, placing a black folder before me. "Miss Emma," he said softly. "The bill." The total stared up. $1,090 plus tip and service. My pulse faltered. Silverware clinked faintly in the distance. A cousin murmured, "Is that for you?" Before I could respond, Mom's voice sliced through, bright and sharp. "Emma will cover it as always," she said, raising her glass. It's the least she can do for Lily's big day. A ripple of laughter faded quickly. Lily sipped her drink, her smile rehearsed. I looked at Dad. He coughed and turned away. An aunt muttered, "That's not fair," then flushed. The manager lingered nearby, his face polite but concerned. "Everything okay, ma'am?" he asked Mom. "We're fine," she replied, not sparing me a glance. The photographer's flash popped like tiny explosions. The bill lay open, heavy as a judgment. This wasn't generosity, it was a public ritual. My humiliation neatly printed in ink. I pushed my dessert aside. No sweetness could mask the bitterness. Heat surged up my neck, a spark turning to flame. If they wanted a scene, I'd give them one. That bill wasn't just money. It was my worth, tallied and taxed. I stood, my voice steady despite the fire within. The room stilled, forks paused midair. "If Lily's your pride," I said, "let her pride pay tonight." Mom's smile tightened. "Don't embarrass us, Emma. Just pay it." I tapped the folder. This isn't tradition. It's weaponized shame. I won't bankroll my own erasure anymore. Dad cleared his throat. "Sweetheart, it's just money. Don't make a fuss." "It's not money," I said. "It's years of being subtracted from. Add up Lily's dresses, lessons, bailouts. Then check my receipts." Lily set down her glass, eyes sharp. "Why are you being cruel?" "Asking for fairness isn't cruel," I replied. "Paying to be diminished is." Mom's chair scraped back. "We raised you. You owe us respect." "Respect is mutual," I said. Tonight, mine was billed and announced publicly. The manager stepped closer. "Separate checks, perhaps?" Mom waved him off. "She'll pay. We're celebrating our star." I pulled out my wallet, placing cash for my seltzer, tax, and a generous tip. "This covers my order," I said, sliding the folder toward Mom. "And fair service." A cousin whispered, "Good for her," then stared at her plate. Lily's smile wavered. "You're ruining my birthday, Emma. Be kind." "Your night was built on me," I said. "That's the real issue." Dad tried again. "Let's talk calmly." "Calm meant silence," I said. Silence kept me paying, fading for years. I turned to Lily. "You're gifted, but gifts don't justify entitlement. We're the crown, but pay its price." Mom hissed, ungrateful. The word broke like dry kindling. "Gratitude without limits is servitude," I said. "I'm done bowing." The photographer lowered his camera, the flash finally still. The manager nodded. "We can split it 3 ways. "No," I said. "Charge them. I'm not paying." Or run the card labeled "Family Pride" for once. A few relatives stifled laughs, hiding behind glasses. Lily whispered, "Emma not here." "You made it public," I said. "So here we are." I steadied my breath. "Effective now," I said, voice clear and final, no more surprise bills. No more secondhand love. Respect is the cost of my presence. Without it, I'm gone. I set the folder upright like a marker and walked out, past the cake, into the night. Behind me, voices clashed, chairs shifted, cutlery rang like bells. The cold air outside was sharp, honest, vital. I exhaled. I won't buy love. I'll buy my peace. But the story didn't end there. I kept walking until the city drowned out the restaurant's hum. Morning brought messages piling up like dishes after a feast. Dad called, voice soft. He should have spoken up. Try again, I said, with actions, not words. Lily texted, I didn't know it felt like humiliation. I replied, then learn. Pride that costs others isn't worth having. Mom sent a single line, you shamed me. I answered, respect is the price. Guilt isn't currency. I booked therapy, marking sessions like steps toward healing. I was learning the difference between loneliness and peace. Weeks passed, boundaries held. Invitations came, worded cautiously. I responded, I'll come if it's respectful, no surprise bills, no public slights, no golden child displays. If those terms broke, I'd leave. Dad met me for coffee, his apologies steady. I believed him because he asked how to change. Notice, I said. Then speak up. Lily visited, no cameras, her voice softer. She admitted the spotlight hid costs she never paid. We planned modest birthdays, split bills evenly, no drama. Mom lingered on the edges, tied to old habits. Maybe she'll shift, maybe not. I can wait. My life isn't a payment for someone else's story. If you've lived under favoritism masked as love, I see you. You can love family and still reject unfair terms. Boundaries aren't vengeance, they're blueprints for healthy connections. Have you faced this? Share below. If you've been there, you're not alone. Subscribe for more stories of courage, boundaries, and growth.